I got one of my A1 day ones in the chair right now. We're gonna go check out Alvin Owens over at Tricoci Barber College. One of the heavies, one of the originals in this barber industry. And we're gonna go get his story, talk to some of the students. Might even get a haircut. I think I'm due for one. So.
Reminiscing. Wanna talk to the hottest barbers in the business.
We're at Tricoci Barber School. I'm Mr. Superior, and I'm Alvin D. Owens. And you're watching Mr. Superior Behind the Clippers.
I'm here at Tricoci University Bridgeview campus, and I'm going to take you on a little tour. Over here is our clinic floor for barbers. So you have over here with our team. Team, you could turn around. They're waiting for a demonstration. The demonstration gonna be, surprise, Mr. and Superior is getting a cut by our one and only Mr. Jose. And he's from our Essentials, about to come out to the floor with our advanced class, and he's gonna have the honors of cutting up the man. All right, so come through here. We call it like a little barber shop. In here is like more of the advanced. Once you're more advanced, you have like a little clubhouse, kind of the shop experience. So a lot of our advanced students who's about to graduate usually come and dominate this room. And it's a room, I look at it as it's a room to earn. Down these halls, as you see the lockers, this is where the students store their items. And then we have our classrooms on the left and right side. All right, wrapping up our tour. This is one of our classrooms. Oh, you're in luck. You're in luck. Can we come? Yeah. All right, this is great. You get a treat. And this is our original esthetician facility. And like I said, it grew so much that we have another room, but this was the original. And we outgrew it. We were bursting at the seams day and night. Just right here, a lot of times our students will leave their mannequins up here, especially the ones that graduated, and you can see where they've been, where they started and then where they ended, and where they do all the traditional cuts in men's and women's haircuts and styles, and then they go freehand. So that's why you see some different colors and some styles, because they do a final creative cut.
I'm gonna ask this question for everybody. Is this real hair or is this
So most of our mannequins is real hair. However, if we get some donated from a company or whatever, that's usually mixed with real human hair and synthetic. We can color our hair because it's 100% real hair, and that's what they get in their kit. So that's why we tell the students, hold on to your mannequins because it's real.
Yeah, this is everything. We're gonna put Jose to the test today. He's gonna cut me up, but he's gonna be all right because he got the big dog working with him, Mr. A. So. What cut are you guys gonna give me? You say you want to do some graphics. You want to bring one of your guys out for some graphics, of course, right?
Yeah. Well, one thing we do here is just teach them about envisioning the cut. So I'm gonna ask the student to challenge him. What do you see as far as he's giving you creative control? What do you see with his head? With what type of haircut you want to give him?
Low to mid fade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so he has graphics up there. I don't want to go all the way up there.
Okay.
So
okay.
What I'm using is
cool.
So, Mr. A.
Yes.
Let's get started with you.
Sure.
Let's hear your story. That's what we came here for. Why don't you tell us where you're from and a little bit about your story and how you got started cutting hair.
Well, I grew up in the industry. I'm from Chicago, both Chicago and Kenosha, Wisconsin. And I grew up in this industry with my parents who owned a shop since probably I was 8 years old. I'm in my early 50s now.
Wait, what? You said early 50s?
Yep. But just grew up in the industry. Love what I do. I didn't get into it professionally because I didn't really think I needed it, because it was a part of the family. It was just a part of us, you know, being shop kids, and I loved it. But I went out and got into communications, got into retail, but it all led me back to the industry.
All those places you went to helped you out in this industry as well, right?
I just remember I was working for a company and I had gotten a super big raise, and I was wondering why I kept getting a raise, but we kept closing departments and facilities. And then I found out that I was a part of a closing team. And I saw how other people, managers, I was an operations manager and I was part of a regional team. I saw how they were losing their jobs left and right, and I was like, I'm not waiting till the end. So I jumped out there, put in my application at Larry's Barber College close to 10 years ago, and I went for it. I left the company and went for it and never looked back.
That's where you went? You went to Larry's?
Yeah.
That's where I went to.
And I know it's a lot of some great alums out of Larry's. It's funny because when I started, I really wanted to go to Canes, but Larry's Barber College happened to get back with me, and I just went for it.
So you say
Never
your parents your dad owned a barbershop, or both of your parents?
Salon. So
Salon,
my mom
okay.
and my stepfather that I grew up with owned Cutting Edge hair salon downtown Chicago off of Lake and Wabash. Okay. And then my mother, eventually once they divorced, she owned Cutting Up on Washington off of Michigan Avenue. Wow. And then when my mother remarried to Paul Chambers, he's a national colorist and a stylist, and they got married, and he wrote a book, and they rebranded the shop to Paul Chambers Salons.
So when it came down to you actually going to barber school and taking a test to get your license, was it after you being in this industry for so long, learning that stuff from your mother at a young age? Was it all natural to you when you got to barber school? Did you learn a lot more? Because
I grew up in the shop, learning different techniques that I probably didn't even know the name, of. Right. I just went into school and I didn't say I knew how to cut hair. I just held back. I just waited till they said, all right, it's time for you guys to cut hair. And I was cutting, and what they noticed was that I was cutting different textures. Like I was cutting, medium fine and coarse, all different textures, all different cultures. And so when different people would come into, you've been to Larry's, yeah. Different textures, they would send them to me. And so I would just do it, but I didn't say anything. You know how it is in the barber gang. I was older, in my early 40s. I'm going into a school with all young cats from the South Side who could cut, like wake up cutting. And I was like, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm not even sagging, Right. I'm from the North Side. I'm the corny guy from the North Side. Right. So I said, let me be quiet and let me just feel the campus. And I realized I didn't have to be anybody else but myself.
So you went to barber school. You said you were in barber school at 40?
Yeah, 42.
Were you cutting?
Oh yeah, I've been cutting since I was 16.
What took you so long to go to barber school?
It didn't take me so long. What it was that I always said, oh, I'm gonna just open up a shop when I get older. That was the plan. Right. Because I was a part of it. I grew up in it. I went to the shows. And so when I thought about it professionally, it was because of other careers that I saw just wasn't doing it. And when I saw my colleagues working for a company for so many years and could be let go because the company could shut down, yeah. It was an eye-opener. I was like, I grew up in an entrepreneur household, so why don't I just embrace what I already know? Absolutely. So it wasn't a thing of, why did I wait? Because I wasn't planning on it. I just thought, I grew up in an entrepreneur household, I'll just take over the business and that's it. I don't have to get a license. Right. It would be something that I just go in and manage, not something that I would actually do. But when I got educated, that's when I was like, let me embrace this. Yeah. Let me go into this professionally. And not only that, to continue our family legacy. So I was born into it.
What made you want to be an educator? Being an instructor?
I worked in education before, Kenosha Unified School District. I worked for CPS, Chicago Public School District. I'm telling you, I've been back and forth all my life. And those were areas that I really thrived in. I mean, matter of fact, with Kenosha Unified School District, I started my college tour program. In 2023, it'll be 25 years old that you can find us on beyondcollege.net. Education, Youth Development Outreach, where we take students all over America to visit colleges and universities. So again, something that I'm a part of, I wanted to just continue that. And I love being a barber, but I also love being a barber and I love giving back. So education just seemed like I just wanted something else, another notch in this industry that I grew up in on my belt.
What's giving you the motivation to keep doing this now? Waking up every day and coming here and teaching these guys and doing what you do?
For this school in particular, it definitely was the students. When I was going back to Kenosha, Wisconsin to open up a shop, the students actually motivated me and was cheering me on because I was being transparent with my journey in barbering. And they were motivating me. And there were times where I was ready to give my resignation, traveling back and forth. But because I was so transparent about what I wanted to do with my career, they just kept motivating me. So I just kept at it, and I stayed with Tricoci. But as far as what is the love that I have for teaching, it was already in me. Again, my program is going to be 25 years old, and not only are we taking students to visit colleges and universities in different cities, we're taking them to trade schools as well. So it just fits with it aligns with how I live my life.
How do you guys feel as Mr. A as a teacher? What are you guys' feelings?
Well, I found out today.
I mean, we make a lot of jokes and stuff, but outside of the jokes, I mean, he helped me on my recent cut. I did a ball fade on the walk-in, and I was struggling a little bit, and then he, came there to help me. So I appreciate his way of trying to help us do the fades and stuff. So I appreciate that.
I say he's passionate in barbering. It's more than just cutting hair for him. He goes beyond just cutting hair. I'd say he helped a lot of people that walk through these doors, and I feel like a lot of people accept him, but he's a good teacher.
I appreciate the exposure, and I have experience like cutting one type of hair, and he forced you to. One thing he does is make you get out your comfort zone.
I'll say that.
There you go.
That was shocking. Because I didn't know I was looking out here.
No, so like one thing that Mr. A does really well is like he makes. It's not like you just come in here just getting information or whatever, but he applies whatever the book says to something tangible, an actual person. And remember we talked about this, like that. So I'll say like his methods are really easy to learn, and to apply it, on an actual person. And then just overall, man, like, yeah, people might joke about him or whatever, but I feel like it's like a barbershop, You're gonna sit there with somebody else, and I might just go on George right now for the pants, but
It's part of the
I'll just play.
What's the name?
I think deep down he has a really good heart, to be honest, and you know what I'm saying. Like this is something that he's passionate about, and you can tell just by him teaching and the way he's. Don't stand like that. Comb like this.
They get it from me doing this, saying don't be this type of barber. You know how they do at the shows.
Yeah.
But be the professional.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to do like a signature.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have to
it
do
is
like
one
a
of my
logo or like a
signatures.
character logo of him.
It is
throwing up
one of
his-
my signatures.
I like that. What barber that you taught that went here should I interview next?
I don't want to get too emotional, but one barber had an opportunity to meet would have been Wilburn Buchanan, and I'm fighting from getting choked up, but he rode his bicycle to the shop when his car went down. We laugh about having bad cars in the past, and saying that no matter what you do, you have to make it. And this young man was killed in an auto collision just a week and a half ago, and we just buried him over the weekend. And thank you. And he was an extraordinary guy. And while we were cutting on 103rd near Halstead at Brian Keith Grooming Lounge, I would test him even when he didn't want to. While he was cutting, I would go over the CEMMM, the facials. I would go over the infection control, and he didn't want to. He was like, Alvin, I'm tired of studying. And he literally passed his test on the first try. But we were on him in that shop. And he took over my position as the manager of that shop. When I left to go open up Regimen Barber Collective in Kenosha, Wisconsin, he became the manager of that shop. And extraordinary barber. If you would have been able to meet somebody, he would have been definitely one of them that came. He was one of my first students in one of my first classes at Larry's Barber College when I was in my student teaching days at night in a night part-time program, similar to this one. And for somebody right now, I would say, God, that's hard to say. That is hard to say. I don't have any favorites. The exclusive that I have, are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Well, within 5 years, Regimen Barber Collective will be opening up a school. And so I've just been secretly planning, and in our industry, we say plotting, our next move. So behind closed doors, I've been plotting, I guess. That's what the young people say. But it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of sacrifice. And when you said, where do I see these students? I hope to see them teaching or educating or coming to my program. And pouring, you know, what I've given to the students. I hope they come back to my locations, not only in Chicago, but also here, not only in Wisconsin, but also here in Illinois. So I plan to be a mogul in our business. So, yeah.
Wow.
And of course, I got brothers like you.
Okay. Hold on. So, your barbershop was Regimen's Barber?
Regimen Barber Collective.
Okay.
And that's in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Tell us about that. Tell us, I didn't even know you had a barber. I didn't even know you had a barbershop.
In Kenosha, Wisconsin. Okay. Yeah, everybody in Illinois, a lot of people in Illinois, when they see online, they see that Instagram with me being the teacher.
Yeah.
But in Wisconsin, I have a shop, I have a mentoring program. I started my college tour there that's now serving all of the Midwest. So even though my students talk about me in a text group, they don't know I'm big time in a whole nother city. I'm just teasing them. I'm just teasing them. It's just motivation. It's just motivation. But
I'm gonna close up this interview. Well, I'm gonna close up the interview with this, and then we're gonna go ahead and figure out what's going on with my hair right now, because I have no idea. There's no mirrors or nothing. But I trust everybody in this room, so just because of, you know. But what advice do you have for any upcoming barber in this industry that wants to be successful?
I'm gonna go by a life standard. I always say this, that we should live by standards and expectations, especially in our career. But there's a quote that I live by, and what you do behind the chair is a reflection of what you do beyond the chair. So I'm gonna say that again. What you do behind the chair is always gonna be a reflection of what you do beyond the chair. And what you do beyond the chair should always represent what you do behind the chair. And what that really means is that how you present yourself to your clients on that day-to-day basis, how you're making sure that they're taken care of and you're beautifying them. You don't know who may walk into your chair, whether it's LeBron James, Barack Obama, or whoever's having a bad day. I just named some names out there, but it could be just the mailman who's coming in and he's having problems at home, and you have to make sure that you're taking care of that person, and you're an advocate in certain ways. You're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a psychiatrist for the moment, and while you're taking care of a customer, so you want to make sure you're taking care of them. But what do you do once you're not behind the chair? How are you living beyond the chair? And that plays a lot. People see you. When I literally I'm not a South Sider of Chicago, but I wanted those reps from the South Side of Chicago, and I got my reps on the South Side of Chicago. So I give it up to, you know, our city, my hometown. But I remember walking down the street on 103rd and Low, going to the corner store, 103rd and Wallace, and one of the students said, "That's my barber," and he yelled that out, and it just meant something to me. Little kid, you know, with his friend with a basketball, and I remember saying, you know, I walked a little bit stronger. And then the other guy, I heard them talking as they were walking away, and they was like, "Yeah, I want to be a barber when I grew up." The man tears that hit my eyes, I was like, you know, I'm in the heart of the in the beginning of the hundreds, of what they call the wild hundreds. And then you got two little kids two little African-American kids saying something like that when all the stigmas and the stereotypes about Chicago and Chicago's youth, it just meant something to me. And I just kept that. And I had to say, I always try to live a decent life, right? But it really makes you think, because them children are looking at something. Yeah. They see the man behind the chair, but who am I when I'm walking down the street? Am I that same person? Am I that same positive person? They're watching. You know, the students are, the young people are watching us. And we have to watch what we say and do when we're out there.
I like what you just said about that, man. I think that would be something that would capture my soul, man, capture my heart, man. And I'm pretty sure there is hundreds of people from the south side of Chicago, just the south side of Chicago, that is looking up to you just like them guys, man. Like, man, I want to be like him. I want to follow them steps, man. That's deep, man. That's true. Look, I came down here, and I'm glad he welcomed us in here, because this is one of the realest dudes in the industry. This is a dude that was born to be one of the best, one of the GOATs. And I'm pretty sure, you know, a couple years from now, we'll probably see a statue right in front of this school or something like that. I don't even get, if not here, somewhere over in Kenosha, right? So, no, I appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Hey, why don't we give Mr. A, Mr. Alvin a round of applause? One of the big dogs right here.